2014, Facebook paid $19 billion for a company built by a man who once lived on food stamps. But years earlier, Facebook rejected him. Jan Koum wasn't a famous entrepreneur. He wasn't backed by investors. He didn't come from wealth. He was just an immigrant kid trying to build a better life. The company that once rejected Jan Koum would eventually pay billions for what he created.
Think about that. Facebook rejected Jan Koum, and years later, they paid billions for the company he created. Sometimes the people who underestimate you first are the ones who eventually recognize you last. Welcome to Dropout Founders.
Jan Koum was born in Ukraine in 1976. He grew up during the final years of the Soviet Union. Life was difficult. Privacy was not something people took for granted. People learned to be careful about what they said. Those experiences stayed with Jan. Years later, it was worth $19 billion. They would influence one of the biggest decisions of his career.
What makes Jan's story interesting is that the biggest idea of his career came from something he experienced as a child. Privacy wasn't just a feature, it was personal.
When Jan moved to America as a teenager, his family struggled financially. They relied on government assistance. But despite those challenges, Jan discovered something that changed his future: computers. While others saw machines, Jan saw opportunity. He taught himself programming, and slowly he built the skills that would eventually change his life. Jan's talent eventually led him to Yahoo. There, he met Brian Acton. Together, they spent years building technology that helped millions of people use the internet. They learned how large platforms worked. They understood what connected people. But after almost a decade at Yahoo, they left. For the first time in years, they had no company behind them, no clear plan, no next big idea. Then they applied for jobs at Facebook, and Facebook said no.
At the time, that rejection probably felt like a failure. But sometimes a closed door forces you to build your own.
Instead of looking for another opportunity, Jan started looking for a problem. And then smartphones changed the world. In 2009, smartphones were becoming part of everyday life. But communication was still complicated. You needed usernames, you needed accounts, you needed expensive text messages. Jan noticed something simple. Everyone already had a phone number, so he built an app around that idea. Your phone number would be your identity. No unnecessary features, no distractions, just simple communication. WhatsApp was created. But there was one problem. Almost nobody cared. The app struggled. Users complained. Growth was slow. Most people would have abandoned the idea.
This is a nightmare. Look at these checkout numbers.
Checkout login is broken too.
I'm seeing dozens of reports here on the tablet.
We need to fix this before the whole app crashes.
This is the moment where most founders quit. Not because the idea is bad, but because the world hasn't understood it yet.
Then Apple introduced push notifications, and everything changed. People stopped using WhatsApp as a simple status app. They started using it to message each other. Jan had discovered what people actually wanted: a simple way to communicate. WhatsApp began spreading around the world, but it grew differently from most technology companies. There were no massive advertising campaigns, no celebrity promotions, no huge marketing budget. The users themselves became the marketing. One person downloaded WhatsApp, then their entire countries. Millions became hundreds of millions, and eventually, Facebook came back.
The company that once rejected Jan Koum came back years later and paid billions for the idea they never believed in.
In 2014, Facebook acquired WhatsApp for approximately $19 billion. The same company that once said no was now making one of the biggest acquisitions in technology history. But didn't build WhatsApp just to become wealthy. The company was built around one belief: your conversations belong to you. Privacy wasn't just a business decision, it was something Jan had believed in his entire life. But after WhatsApp became part of Facebook, differences emerged over the future direction of the platform. And in 2018, left Facebook, walking away from one of the biggest technology companies in the world.
Most people spend their entire lives trying to reach that level of success. Jan reached it, and still chose to walk away when he felt the original mission was changing.
Went from a struggling immigrant kid to the founder of one of the most important communication platforms in history. He was rejected by Facebook. He built something they couldn't ignore. And eventually, Facebook came looking for him. Because sometimes the rejection that feels like the end is actually the beginning of something much bigger.
Never underestimate someone who has nothing to lose and something worth proving. This was Dropout Founders.